Welcome to the Parkland Report. I'm Stephanie Stewart, Vice President for Communications and External Affairs here at Parkland College. And this is the Parkland Report, where we talk to the people making things happen here at the college. Today, I'm joined by two guests. The first is Dr. Mike Trame, our Vice President for Student Services.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you on the show.
Yeah.
I think it's our first post-COVID, during COVID interview.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we've done it in the past, but different topics. So excited to talk about this one today.
It's almost hard to know where to dig in, Mike.
Fair enough. I can appreciate that.
Mike Trame is the individual that's been appointed the COVID czar of sorts here at Parkland College over the last 18 months or so. How has that journey been?
It has been a roller coaster ride, to say the least. But we've had great folks at Parkland that have been helping navigate all parts of this, and I know you'll talk with one of those, Tracy, here in a little bit. But we've had some great folks helping to navigate it. We've adjusted and adapted at all turns and with all new things thrown at us. And so hopefully from the insider's perspective, whether it be students or faculty or staff, that they felt like it's been as seamless as possible under the circumstances. So. Absolutely.
So you've had to set up a number of different structures that we've just never had to have at Parkland College before in our history. And could you maybe start by, it may be good to kind of start with basics. So the first thing that you had to set up was a COVID response team. And can you tell our viewers about that?
Yeah, the COVID response team, which Tracy, as I mentioned earlier, heads up for us. That team was charged with basically our contact tracing. Back as the pandemic started, we needed to give support internally to the efforts of Champaign-Urbana Public Health as it related to our students and faculty and staff. And so we set up a team that was really charged with the contact tracing on our campus in coordination with the efforts of the Public Health Department. And they did a fantastic job helping to both record and report all that data, and then help students know when they had, and staff know when they had to quarantine or isolate, and how long they had to be off campus, and then get them released when it was safe to have them back on campus, in an effort to keep everyone safe here in the Parkland community.
No, it's great. It's been really interesting to see. That is now just part of our normal process.
Yeah.
The COVID response team stuff seems like the basics now. That new
18 months or however long it's been on that piece. So.
Yeah, and so how has the campus responded? So I know that health and safety, there's a ton of messaging that's gone out. Yeah. Obviously, it's disrupted everyone's lives, but overall, how do you think all of this
I think it's gone fantastic. Marketing and you have helped us craft messages all the way along that have kept everyone informed, and we've tried to be as transparent with everything. And I think that the vast majority of our constituents have been very thankful for that. They feel like they're in the know. They feel like Parkland is doing what they can to keep them safe. And you're never going to please everybody in this realm and context these days, but I think the vast majority of our folks feel heard, they feel safe, they feel protected here, and they feel like they can come to Parkland to do what they want to do, which is learn and engage and do the things that make Parkland special.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there have been a lot of ups and downs, right? Yeah. There's lots of
absolutely
changing guidance. And so talk to me a little bit about the adaptability that we've had to really exercise over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it has been a winding road to get here. We receive lots of guidance from both the federal and state levels, all the way through. There's been changing mask requirements, and we've ebbed and flowed with those as the pandemic seemed to be kind of mitigating for a while, and then we had the Delta variant come back, and so we've ebbed and flowed with the mask requirement over times. We've had great changes in all the guidance as it related to that COVID response team. Tracy and her team have had to constantly stay up on new quarantine and isolation guidelines and protocols, and so it's been constantly changing there. And then now in the latest iteration with the governor's executive order in trying to do those pieces, we're constantly getting interpretation and legal precedent come out that guide the things we're doing to try to stay in compliance with that.
So you mentioned the executive
Yeah.
order, and I know that's front and center
Yeah, these
right
days
now
that is.
on your agenda, but then also the campus's
Yeah.
agenda. And may also change the way our students and employees and our visitors access our campus. So can you unpack the executive order
Yeah.
and how it will be implemented here at Parkland?
Yeah, great. So unpacking the executive order, it's really two components. It's a reiteration of the mask mandate for higher education. And so that part is nothing new to us. We've had that in various iterations for the extent of the pandemic. But the new piece is there is a requirement that in order to enter the higher education facilities, so all of Parkland's buildings and programs, we are to make sure that those folks doing that entering our facilities, that an individual is either fully vaccinated, which means 14 days past their last dose of the vaccine, depending on which sequence they get, or that they are testing weekly and have a negative COVID test within the last week. And so those are the only two options for students and faculty and staff to enter the building. There's some nuance to that when it comes to visitors that are not included in that executive order, but if we're focusing on students, faculty, and staff, it's those two things that we have to ensure.
So is it going to allow the visitor policy? Is it going to allow people to come to athletic and theater productions?
Yeah, great question. Absolutely. So those come under a fleeting visitors section of that executive order. So those that are not students, faculty, and staff can come in and still engage with the campus in all the great ways that we do. And so you mentioned athletic events, planetarium shows, theater performances, music concerts, those kinds of things, but also to come check out what it would be to be a student. So prospective student activities and engagement with our all of our different community engagement elements. All of those things fall under that fleeting visitor category, and we've got a sign-in process at our doors that we'll talk about in a little bit that will help get all those folks to continue to engage in all the great things Parkland does.
Great. No, that's a really succinct and nice explanation of how that'll impact them. So talk about the doors.
Yeah.
So what do I need to know before I come to
Right.
Parkland
Yeah.
right now and for the foreseeable future?
So if you are that visitor coming for those things, it's simple. Just come in. We'll have a sign-up sheet where you enter your name, your phone number, and why you're coming to campus so that we know that you're there for one of those visitor-type endeavors. If you are a faculty, staff, or a student, though, we've put a system in place where we're partnering with OSF and the University of Illinois and their SHIELD program, using the SHIELD CU program and the Safer Community app that's associated with it, that our faculty, staff, and students can download and then send us their vaccination information, and we get that uploaded into the app so that they receive an appropriate approval status to get in the building. Or if they're testing weekly, we offer SHIELD CU COVID testing to not only our students, faculty, and staff, but our community too. Any community member is eligible to use that testing. But for our faculty, staff, and students, that testing also goes right into that Safer Community app and will allow them a week's worth of access from that test before it resets itself and they need to test again.
Great. Yeah, so it's really convenient to have the on-site testing, and I know when all of this came about, we were lucky to have already had a SHIELD testing site right on campus.
Yes, that was a godsend, and I thank the partners at OSF for all their work with us to get that up and running, and you were instrumental in that for Parkland as well, and that partnership has been fantastic, and they test 4 days a week on our campus. We've got a partner site across town at the university for a couple other days a week, so it really affords all of our constituents an option to get tested that's convenient for them.
That's great. So let's talk about students, because I know COVID is really, you're not the Vice President of COVID-19 response,
Unfortunately,
right?
it seems like it lately, but no, Vice President for Student Services, so yeah, I love talking about students any chance I can get.
Yeah, so our students are back, and we talk a lot about requirements, but really what all this is allowing us to do is be here together.
Exactly.
So how are our students responding to being back on campus? What are you seeing from your role?
Yeah, it's great to be back. This semester, more so than the previous ones where we slowly transitioned out of the pandemic, has a vibe and an energy that's starting to feel much better. Back to normal Parkland here, where you see students engaging and studying with one another in our lounges, and you see them participating in student life activities and student engagement pieces. They're able to start coming back and going to our learning commons where they really get great support for their academic endeavors. All those kinds of things that make Parkland special, they're finally able to do again.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see the parking lot full and
yes.
students in the hallways, and of course everyone
you can't park right next to the building anymore. So
no, there was a brief period of time where that was nice, but it got old pretty fast.
Yes, that is true, very true.
Yeah, well, it's been wonderful just to see the response, and I think people have really taken notice of just the coordinated response. I just want to give you huge kudos, Mike. I work really closely with Mike, and it's just huge credit to his efforts.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Anytime. I'm happy to catch up anytime. Thank you for having me, and thanks for chatting with Tracy. I know coming up, and we look forward to seeing how we can serve students better.
Absolutely. Well, we'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back, and we'll talk with Tracy Kleparski.
So who is digital media for? You might be looking for a career in the industry. Careers in things like film, or 3D gaming, or motion graphics, visual effects, virtual reality, augmented reality, and this is just to name a few. And by the way, over the 21 years or so we've had this program, we've had students at places like Pixar, which is feature film, 3D animation, Industrial Light and Magic to do special effects for things like Star Wars. We've had students at 2K Games, 3D sports games. We've even had students who have won Academy Awards and Emmy Awards. We've had students doing 3D and 2D backgrounds for motion pictures like Marvel superheroes. We've had technical artists, environmental artists, modeling technicians working at game studios. We've even had people doing 3D modeling and texturing for flight simulation companies. So it's basically for students interested in a career. It's also for people who are interested in creating a design, and maybe they want to visualize it or print it in 3D. Maybe you're building a new birdhouse and you want to see spatially how it would look in 3D. We've had teachers take these classes in order to communicate concepts, difficult concepts that students need to understand visually, things in physics and anatomy, chemistry. You might be a traditional artist that you're interested in learning a new medium. Digital media might be for you. So what are some of the topics and the skills that we teach? Well, let's start at the beginning, because a lot of these classes kind of build on each other. We start with foundations. We teach you how to learn how to see, how to look at images, how to work with images, how to take two images and composite them together, how to take those images, combine them with audio, and create a sequence. But then we go to 2D animation, kind of drawing digitally, frame by frame, almost like the flip book idea. And we teach stop motion, puppets. We teach motion graphics, and then we work towards cartoon animation or cell animation. Then we move into 3D modeling, and we teach students how to model hard surfaces like tables or chairs or structures. And then we say, let's take a design that exists only in 2D on paper, and let's realize it in 3D. Then we move on to 3D animation, and we really study things like cinematography and film lighting, where we look at the masters in film and ask, how are they lighting scenes? How are they moving the camera to tell stories, to create emotion? And then we say, how can we take objects and teach the students how to move them naturally? Say a branch that moves naturally in the wind, or a pencil that's rolling on the table. How do you animate that to make it look real, naturalistic type of motion? And then we go into exaggerated cartoon types of animation, the stuff you see at Pixar, the way an ordinary object might bounce around or have character and design. And then we move into one of the most popular topics that we teach in digital media, and that's 3D character design. So we ask students to come in with a sketch of a character, maybe something they've drawn their whole life, and we build it in 3D. We start with digital sculpting. We sculpt a character all digitally, including all of the detail and all of the different parts of the body, and then we take this digital sculpture in 3D and we attach bones inside the sculpture, and we create joints inside the sculpture, and then we teach the students how to make those joints and bones move with things like motion capture, taking motion that's been applied and taken from actual actors in a studio and applied to their 3D model to make it move. And then we take that character and we learn how to color it and shade it and apply textures to it. We learn how to put it in a 3D environment. And then finally we teach basic gameplay logic, all within a game engine that we use here at Parkland. So we teach the students how to add gameplay logic to their characters, and then finally these students have characters that are moving around, collecting points, getting more health, just like a regular game. And then we finish up with advanced topics in 3D, where we spend a lot of time at looking at how do I make something in 3D look real, like a photograph? How do I light it? How do I apply shaders and textures? How do I create depth of field the way an actual camera works? We look at things like visual effects or atmospheric effects, things like how do I create smoke and fire and things like fluid. So I hope that gives you a pretty good idea of what digital media is, what are the types of things we teach, who it might be for. So if you're interested in anything to do with 3D, please contact us at Parkland College.
Hi, I'm Leanne McPike, and I'm the CTC Director, and the CTC stands for Computer Technology Center. When we have students come into the CTC, our main goal with us, our 3 professors that work in the CTC, is to make sure that these students feel welcomed and to know that they can be successful.
The CTC program is great. All the teachers are very supportive. So you do online at your own pace, but they're also here to help you, and the lab is here.
Going in during those lab times, the assistant that was there was always very knowledgeable, was always very able to help me through if I got stuck or if I needed any assistance.
Leanne and Kelly are really great to work with. They're always there when I need questions answered.
I love the instructors. They are very supportive and they're very kind, and any questions you may have, they're there.
We offer 26 different courses. Most of them are 1-hour courses for our students, and 4 of those courses are computer information system courses, and those are actually 3 to 4 credit hours. 21 of our other classes are 1 credit hours, and those are sequential to equal our CIS courses that are 3 to 4 hours. We also offer a few certificates. Some of them are 6 hours and some of them go up to multiple hours. And a lot of our students, especially adult ed students, come over and start just with a 6 credit hour certificate, and they advance from there.
Well, I've been out of employment, stay-at-home mom for 10 years, and I wanted to show that I do have the office skills, I'm still proficient, to make me employable when I'm ready to go back to work.
So I've been learning about the computer skills and the speed, how to type it. And since when I started, so I was kind of slow in typing, but after getting done with almost 6 months, I think I improved my typing skills.
One of the best things about the CTC lab is the flexibility of the classes. So anytime during the semester, a student can sign up for a CTC class and complete it anytime during that semester.
They are at your own pace, and that's been really helpful for me fitting that into my home life. So I can get the class done in 3 weeks, or I can spread it out and do a little bit 1 day a week.
For the most part, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You just learn the modules each week and study as much as you want. And then you do geometric studying and make sure that you actually do pass the courses first. And then that's when you take a screenshot of it and then send it to Leanne or Kelly, and they'll get you in to take a test.
The CTC offers Microsoft Office Specialist, known as MOS, M-O-S, exams, and those are very accredited exams in which students receive higher paid jobs when they become specialists for Microsoft. And it's pretty important, and our students feel really valued after they take the course.
MOS exam is just basically taking everything that you've learned throughout the semester, making sure that you're taking the practice exams until you're ready is crucial to succeeding. I took both of those MOS exams and was able to pass them on the first try.
Having those Microsoft tools or the Microsoft knowledge behind me makes me a lot more efficient in my job now. A lot of my coworkers and friends will come to me, hey, can you help me fix this Word document? Hey, can you help me fix this data in Excel? And it's nice that I'm always able to, or normally always able to help them do that.
If you want to have a better resume, if you want to feel more confident in your skills, then yes, it's worth it to take these classes.
All right, we're back from our break and we're joined with our second guest, Tracy Kleparski. She's our Director of Student Life here at Parkland College. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Stephanie. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about our COVID response with Dr. Trame, and I think I probably wanted to lead in that because I want to end on a high note talking about all the awesome things our students are doing from your vantage point. But I know you've played a really important role on our COVID response team that Mike was explaining to us. So talk to me about maybe how your world has been changed over the past 18 months.
Oh, nobody knew they were going to get to deal with COVID in their career. That has been so exciting. But you know, it's been such a huge learning curve, but kind of exciting to be a part of making sure that the campus can stay open and being able to partner with the faculty and the students to make sure that when something does come up with COVID, that we communicate how they need to stay off campus and when they can come back to campus. And I think that just us working together has kind of made this peace of mind for everybody that we're safe when we're here.
Yeah. And yeah, you maybe never thought about how much your role was going to be about keeping students safe, but here you are.
Yeah, that was a surprise, but it's one that I'm thankful that I've been able to kind of dive deep and learn a lot and see what incredible partners we have, not only here on the campus, but in the community. We're really lucky to be here with all the resources we have available to us.
Yeah. So can you describe, I know we were remote for a while and now we've been back and we're back in full force now. But how was there a disruption necessarily to student engagement? And then how has that evolved until now?
Yeah, I think we saw our students really start to disconnect over the last year. They were exhausted. They were tired from all the things they were dealing with at home to stay safe and virtual schooling, and to add virtual engagement on top of it. We just kept hearing that it was just one too many things to be connected. And so we're definitely seeing that we're in a rebuilding time, and now that we have students here on campus, they're kind of trickling into our student life spaces and our activities. But we have a whole new batch of students now. These aren't the same students that we left with 18 months ago. And so we're having to connect with the students for the first time and let them know what we have available to us. The incoming students did not come to campus for an in-person visit to the campus or an in-person orientation. We've met them through the computer screen. And so now that they're here, we're starting to encourage them to come into student life. And we started that with our fall convocation, kind of a big bang, welcome back to the campus. We were able to do a big outdoor event and do lots of distancing and still get students out for food and activities and to connect with some of our resources. And then we're now starting to get into kind of our monthly calendar of activities where we have our student government, which we are definitely looking to rebuild our student government, bring some new leaders there. Right now, we still do have openings, and students can reach out to us if they're interested in taking on a greater leadership role with the campus through student government. We have some events where maybe you're not so sure what you want to do and you just want to wander into student life. We have what we're calling our Make and Take Mondays, and once a month students can come to Parkland Student Life office and they get some kind of activity to take with them. They can choose to stay here and do an activity with some of their friends, or they could actually take it home with them and do something with their family so that their families can find out a little bit more about how they get involved. And sometimes those are like arts and crafts kinds of ideas, or something we've been talking about, something to do with the masks that students have to wear and maybe customizing some things. So we're kind of excited about ways that we can just bring students in and talk to them and get them excited about what we're doing.
Very cool. Yeah, no, it's been really great to see how student life has adapted and say, okay, what works now, and reevaluating that. And you touched on something, and I want to maybe expand on that for our viewers as well, which is student engagement at a two-year institution. Because we're with them for 2 years, but you're right, a lot of the students, even our kind of freshman and sophomore classes, maybe brand new to the campus. So how is that different than maybe a four-year institution for student engagement?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in a four-year institution, there's time. If a student doesn't get involved right away, they might get involved their second year, and they can move around and change what they're doing. And here, that 2-year time frame is a much shorter time frame, and it takes a little bit of time for students to just get acclimated to the demands of college and finding their classes across a much larger building than maybe if they were coming from a high school or coming from not doing anything related to school for quite a while. So, to first get in and find their way around, it's already almost halfway through an academic year before we start to really get in with them and explain, hey, these are the things that we have available and the ways that we can help you to connect to Parkland College, connect to other students, find mentors and resources that will really, really help you to be successful. So unlike our four-year peers, these students were already losing about a half a year of only 4 semesters of their time to get them connected. So we're always trying to get out front and connect with them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and something that maybe the average community member wouldn't think about, but it is so important to get involved. And I mean, I know that we all know this, but really, what are the benefits that you see for the students that really choose to engage? What results from that for them?
Absolutely. So, our students, we know here at Parkland College, our students have so many demands on their time. Our students work. Our students often have families. They have their schoolwork that they are dealing with, and they may have other family members, not just children, that they have to take care of, and those responsibilities are big and heavy on them, and it gets hard to prioritize school. But when they get connected, when they get engaged in the activities and the institution, they start to feel some ownership over prioritizing their work at Parkland College. They feel like they belong here, that they have a community that supports them, and we see that students are much more successful when they do get engaged and involved while they're here at Parkland.
Yeah, and that student success piece is just so important, especially as we welcome students from really all walks of life. We've, some of the hardships that our students face as well, and it's just incredible that they find their way here, and if we can support and engage and help students take those next steps, it's just so critical and so important. In terms of engagement, how do you think that some of the changes that you guys have been making in student life, how do you think that you might carry some of those forward? Some of them were necessary adaptations, but now is there a new future ahead that maybe we couldn't envision before?
Yeah, I think one of the places that I can say that we've made a significant change, and I think this is a change that will be here to stay, is in our orientation. We've gone to kind of it's a virtual orientation that can be accessed through anybody's mobile device, and they get some of that initial information that they need to figure out, how do I sign up for my classes, how do I meet with an advisor, how do I just start to get involved, what can I get involved with? But a lot of times that's too much information all at once, and students are able to complete that orientation, get registered for classes, and then come back to it again and say, hey, what did I say? What did I hear again? How do I get involved? And they can rewatch that at any time throughout their time here. We're really pleased about that orientation and the way that students can access it in real time when it's most important to them to really connect with the material. As far as our student engagement and our activities that we have, I think we're seeing that we're doing more hybrid options for our students. We definitely know our students want to be here on campus and they want that opportunity to connect with each other, but we do have some students that would like to participate if it was more available at a time that was convenient, or if they could do it from home when they had kids at home working on homework. And so by doing a hybrid option, when we offer some virtual activities, we offer some in-person activities, we're finding that we better engage the campus as a whole.
Yeah, no, those are really great insights. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. It's been, an interesting journey, I'm sure, and it's just so excited to see students on campus, engaging with student life, getting integrated into the campus, and really helping to develop their skills. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to talk about all we're doing.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for this episode of the Parkland Report. We really appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about Parkland College, and we'll see you next time.